Great. Enough talking, you're going to now do a wee bit of work. So what I want you to do is to go to your emails where you've hopefully sent yourself an old PowerPoint. Would that be fair? Did everybody have a chance to send? No? Okay, let's see if we can get one cracked up on this. Okay. So if your email or your PowerPoint has been sent to you, it might look a little bit like this, like a very blank, boring, pathetic sort of shape, and it just asks me, did I want to tap to download? So there's a wee bit of Wi-Fi here, which we're pleased about. Is that okay? And it looks maybe a wee bit like that on the screen. How do we get this into Keynote? So I'm going to tap on it once, and up on the screen it appears. And in the top right hand corner you should see an arrow in the box, the share icon. So tap on that, and you should see as one of your options Keynote. All you got to do is tap on Keynote. Whatever presentation you were working on disappears, and your new one will come in. All been well. Hangs in there. And then it will appear on the screen. So can everybody have a wee crack at that for those of you that have got it? Working for you? Just tap on the screen. Oh, you're inside my files, are you?
That's funny. You don't want to tap. Can you open that? You know, your ordinary CTP? No, not that one, the other one.
You can enter a Gmail account.
Do you have them in your ordinary email?
Download colon, there's
Yeah, there's PowerPoints.
yes, there's PowerPoint in it.
Somebody was doing their defect in the search. So there's what's for the other PowerPoints. Let's see the event.
That's a wee bit for reading that way. That's actually slicker. I was dragging my keynotes in PowerPoint Dropbox. So it's the same idea. You'll see the share icon and then it'll down in Keynote.
Andrew, some people using Gmail as their Gmail account, and it doesn't seem to play nicely.
Right, see the Gmail one, that's an awkward app, and we're just sort of dealing with it over there. So can I borrow yours for 1 wee second? Can I borrow your iPad? Sorry. Yeah. It's not dirty, Dahi, it's all good. It's all good. So I am now going to go. Can I just bring this onto the screen here? Lecture and then mirror. So we were actually in here in Google Mail. And what you should get is an open in feature, but it wasn't there. There is a share button down in here. Down here. So tap on share. And then what I did was tap open in Safari. And when it opened in Safari, now what should happen at the top of the screen, I'm going to say this, what should happen is that you get an open in Keynote, but it disappeared on us. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on cannot open page and then tap on back on this one. Now this is now struggling to load in. You can see the way it says loading. What you should get up here at the top and open in Keynote. It could be the Wi-Fi's down
I think it's just falling over again, Andrew.
It's just collapsed. But you can see actually the top, this says loading, but once it's fully loaded, you will actually get a wee command at the top of the screen saying open in Keynote. Open in Keynote.
Yes.
And that could be why the Gmail one isn't working as well.
Yeah, but it's not really it's an attachment.
Do you know what's happened? The Wi-Fi is I'll bring up my Dropbox now.
See, it's going to force it open. Yeah. If you email that to yourself, to your C2K email.
Oh, there's everything popping up now.
I see getting that on the slide for me. Can I do that?
For those of you using Dropbox,
Oh, thanks.
When am I getting that now?
it's just not going to do it. We are.
But are we getting that down?
That's a good.
There's an example of a PowerPoint inside Dropbox. The share icon at the very, very top.
How do you work in between then? How do you work?
It's slightly different because it's going to then ask you to open in. And when you tap on open in, there's Keynote, job stuff. Is that alright? If you have a look up on the screen, because we're going to do video downloader in about 5 minutes max. If you have a look at the screen, here is an old PowerPoint which I brought into Keynote. You might notice that some of the fonts look a wee bit boring and all. How do you change the font? Tap on it, go to paintbrush, do exactly the same. What happens if I want to add in a new slide because I've now got some new stuff to go? New slide, tap it, bring it in. That slide's not in the right place. I want that slide to be at the end. How do I get that to move down to the end? Tap and hold and drag it. If I now wanted to add in a graph, I would go to plus, add in the graph, and so on. It's exactly the same. All the skills you've already got, you can use to adapt your stuff that you have already. Is that okay? Now, I'm going to go full circle with this. So to bring in your keynotes, or your PowerPoint, sorry, in the Keynote, either send it to yourself via email and then use the open in. The Gmail one is a wee bit more awkward. I'll write up a wee thing about how to do that. It would be a lot easier for you. And we'll do a wee video demo of it once the Wi-Fi's kicking. But is that going to make a difference in terms of teaching and learning? The reason we don't, as I teach, show you Keynote first is because there's a very big temptation that what you do with your old PowerPoints is convert them into Keynote, and then you end up being the same style of teacher as maybe some of us were before, that all we do is just press the next. You will find that some of your transitions will have changed ever so slightly, and I'll show you those at the very end reluctantly, but I will show you. You'll find that things will have shifted ever so slightly, but you can always alter it. I wouldn't be going, we had 150 PowerPoints in the history department. I wouldn't be trying to do all 150 in one night. You'll be ready for the hills. Do them one at a time, or if you've got a departmental, let somebody crack away at year 8. Do stuff that you're going to teach with. Don't be doing stuff that or you aren't going to use. Just aim for it. Do the stuff that you know you're going to use big style. Well, we talked about the power of explain everything and the power of flipped learning before, and how we could use our PowerPoints to work for us when we're not working, when we're tired and we're sleeping. So how can I get this application, this, out into explain everything? If you tap on the little share icon at the very, very top, and then tap on open in another app, what you will get on the screen when mine finally decides to catch up, you should get, mine just completely frozen, I think it has, you should get an option to choose app. Now it's going to ask you what you want, so I'm going to come out of this just for one second, and bring this back in. Typical technology killing you when you need it most. Go. There. Open another app. The reason I haven't shown you transitions is because I am not sure that transitions really make a massive difference. Now, I know in things like languages where you maybe have a word and then you sort of fade the answer in or whatever you're doing. I understand there's an importance in that. The problem is if you've got keynotes and PowerPoints that do all that transition-y stuff and the gamey type thing or the reveal type thing, bring it in to explain everything, those reveals and those things aren't going to work. And that's why you probably need at some point to keep things in Keynote, because you need that type of presentation. And for other things where you want to do full on this discussion, let's circle, let's annotate, let's draw, that might be better inside Explain Everything. It's why I always choose PDF, and you know that when you PDF something, it just gets flatlined, nothing happens, nothing changes. And that's my deliberate reason for not showing you transitions just yet. Because when you do that, if you spend all the time doing all these cool, wavy transitions, they're going to be lost if you're intending to bring it in to explain everything, so there's no point. So I'm going to choose PDF if you would do the same as a format. And then what it will ask you to do is to choose app. Maybe you're getting yours and I'm not. I don't know, mine's sort of hanging a wee bit today. Just telling me to turn my iPad off. And of course when you choose app, yeah, it's live. Choose app, and then I'm going to choose explain everything. So I'm going to zoom across. Explain everything. And if you had 7 slides in your PowerPoint, which became a Keynote, it'll give you individual slides and you're good to go. Is that alright? It's exactly the same, only it's now explain everything. And just to demonstrate it, why is this a better format for me in this particular case? Well, if I'm trying to explore this particular crime scene and I want to zoom in on it, because it's an explain everything, I can zoom in. I can't do that inside Keynote. Is that alright? Happy enough with all of that? So open in, choose explain everything, and then what could I now do with this particular PowerPoint? How can I make this into a flipped learning? Press the record button, start chatting, go to the next slide, pick up the laser tool. What word does this mean? Where we go. Do a 5-minute overview of that Keynote and let that work away on YouTube or wherever you're putting it for them to go and see it. And it's working away flat out and you're at home, hopefully relaxing and chilling out. Going full circle on apps is quite an important thing. And I love of explain everything. I hope it's pretty tangible. But it's only because I think it can actually work for me whenever I'm not working. That's my big thing. Plus I think it believes that it scaffolds the learning that goes on. You'll know as well, and this is the thing I'm going to finish on, and then we're going to have a look at the video explain. You'll notice that if I use an annotation tool and I start to pick up on words shouting and crashing, I was just saying to my Eddie, wherever it is, those annotations are really powerful. I'm going to go to the next slide. But when I come back to that slide, the annotations are still there. I think that's crucial. Now Apple, if you would go back to your Keynote, what I would like you to do is to press play on your screen. So go back to Keynote and press play. Now what you can't see on mine, but I'm going to turn it around, you might be able to see from a distance. You can't see it on the screen. I have 3 wee icons here. So your screen should be now, if you're in Keynote, it should be running your presentation in inverted commas. Tap and hold on your screen. So can somebody do it? Press play on yours and then tap and hold with one finger on your screen. There you are. Is it working for you? If you tap and hold on your screen, you should get a set of crayons that come out the bottom. Now, those crayons you can write and you can scribble, and I'm going to do it on mine up here. So I could start doing the whole. Look at this. What do you think this is? What do you think this is? And I could do heads and tails exercise where they've got to mix and match, and they've got to pull ideas and concepts or underline key verbs. I could do all that. And it all looks pretty cool, and it's kind of explain everything-esque. Happy days. This is really good. Plus you've got the wee laser tool as well. Is that alright? But all the annotations, whenever you come out of it, are gone. And in fact, if I go back and to scribble some more stuff on here, and I spent ages doing all these colour codes, maybe I was highlighting part of an essay, and I was doing whatever I'm doing. See as soon on your screen it will say the same. See if I tap the word done, it's all gone. So that little tool, if you look, can you see my iPad screen just for 1 wee second? That little tool sits up in here. It's a little pen. Because you're not presenting, you don't get the same options, but if you tap and hold on yours, you'll get it. On mine, because I'm presenting, my tool's up there for doing that. If you drag your finger from over at the side, so take your finger completely off your iPad and drag it onto your screen, you'll get a slide sorter, which allows you to jump, or, like, remember I said to you about skipping a slide? You can skip a slide by just skipping the slide. Is that alright? Which is pretty cool. Plus you get the time whenever you're presenting and all sorts of stuff. Apple have got some nice features in here, but I think it just falls just a little bit short. Nice, cool, inventive, but it's not quite the full ticket for teaching and learning. Is that alright?
Just need to update my Keynote.
To get out of your presentation, for you, if we just sort of, with 2 fingers, just pinch your screen, that'll come out of it when you present, and you should be back to where you started. When you want to change the slide when you're doing the keynote, just literally, instead of tapping like we used to do, you can just swipe your finger, just go to the next slide and it'll kick on through. Is that alright? But there are some wee extra features inside PowerPoint which are nice of the moment, but they're not going to stick. If your annotations are needed for you to explain something to send out your students, you need to take it out elsewhere into a better annotation tool to explain it. Great. Right, Dahi, this is where we start to pray, brother. Right, this up our game a little bit because Video Downloader is just one of these amazing apps that I think everybody needs to sort of have in their arsenal of tools, and it will allow us to drag videos into our keynotes and then run them as if we had some sort of iPad magic. So, Dahi, did you get over the racy picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin Kelvin said it wasn't racy at all.
Well, we could have chosen another one, but we'll move on from that discussion. Okay, so if you tap on your app Video Downloader, this is going to collapse out, I know
It's
that.
working okay now.
We'll give it a wee
You
go.
demonstrate, yeah.
So Video Downloader, it looks like this. Is that okay?
Where is that?
You
Yeah.
have it
Should-
downloaded.
But your mind
You have to download it.
Well, no, we have it pre-installed anyway. Some people.
Let's see how we get on.
I need the...
Oh, no, you're... That's another one.
You say it's basic.
He needs to bring my Jones
And do you not go to the
It should be on the machine from the start.
Okay.
Joe.
I'm actually not sure.
That's it.
Will you put that password in here?
This is what's going on.
Yeah, that's usually. You'll see something in 1 second.
Oh, like
I was going to send Danny,
You're
you need
fine.
to more. That's not
Don't worry
reason.
about it.
That's what I'm going to give you the weekend. So if you think that's racy,
Knock them out.
You want to see our video? Is that what you said?
racy is
Not tonight, every day.
This is one of it, yeah.
Change that back to
I'm going to give you a tutorial now. Right, if you have a look up on the screen,
if you sign for Maria, sign her in the door.
has everybody got something that looks a wee bit like this? Okay, cool. So at the very, very top of your screen, you should see a search bar, but it's not a search bar. Is that alright? That's it, where you type in your URL. That should be sort of set to YouTube as it is. Leave that one alone. Is that alright? If you start asking for things up in there, it'll just go all confused. So that is like your Safari top bar. That's where you type in bbc.co.uk, which we're not, we're on YouTube. If you look down at the bottom before we go any further, you should see that you're in a browse mode, because that should be highlighted in blue. When we start to download stuff, we'll go into the downloads folder in here. That's where things will go to. And the rest of the stuff we're going to ignore entirely, just for now. But we want to search for a video. So you should see a little YouTube symbol up here. And if you go all the way across here, you should see a little magnifying glass.
Yeah.
So if you tap on that, you should get a keyboard.
Andrew, is there 2 different versions of this app? Or?
Yeah, actually, I noticed that on one person, so I'm going to come back to this.
We might be using an older version of the app.
There's a version that doesn't work. Is that alright? And there's a version that does, and that's the version that doesn't.
this one is.
But the other one is downloaded. So I'm going to go
Not
to,
at home.
let's go to App Store, let's go to Video Downloader.
You should see where yours. What is yours?
One of these.
Get all that on there.
That's the wrong. Is it the light one? Is the wrong version?
No, look, hang on, I'm going to scroll this up onto the screen, and then I'm going to show you.
Here down at the back there.
There's the right version.
Just to get the right version,
It's got a wee hyphen beside
can
it.
you see this up on the screen?
Yeah.
See in the top right hand corner, right, type in video, and it's going to be Video Downloader.
Here, you've got
See that? Who said this wasn't racy enough? I think we're on the edge. Woo! least you've got clothes on. Right. This is the one that you want. It's the very first one that comes up. I better watch where I put my hand there. Let's tap on open, and that will give you the right one that you want to use. And you should be in. Cancel, I don't know what's the tutorial. Take you off the screen here. You're very, very welcome. Okay, I'm going to get you back in because time. I've got 2 minutes to do this before Dahi kicks me out. And this is how easy this app is. So we should be in search YouTube, and I'm going to look for horrible histories. So just type in what you want to search for. Make it anything at all. Is that alright? Doesn't matter what it is. And you'll notice, like we used to get in CTK, the worm of death. Is that okay? And hopefully it'll crack in here now. Start praying now, brother. Start praying. I love this beating live. Joe, this phone call's coming in for you in about 2 minutes. I'll describe what happens. Is that alright? Because I'm waiting for this. Your video will start to play, and if it doesn't, hit the play button. And immediately, look, timed out. Immediately what it'll ask you is save to memory. Is that okay? When you start to play it, now say it's a 10-minute video, don't sit there and watch it. Because as soon as you tap on save to memory, can everybody tap on this for me please? See down at the bottom of your screen where it says downloads? It will start to download in there. And when it fully downloads, it will look like this. So find the video you want, press play if it isn't started already, and then it will immediately say save to memory. Just whack it, and it will start. You don't need to watch the rest of the video, just go immediately to downloads. And this is where it will be. Here's the key bit. There's a little eye on the right hand side. Tap on the little eye. Forget about all the adverts because we're tight, we didn't pay for the version. Is that alright? Because Ballymena, hard to knock it out. See this green button here? It says camera roll. So tap on the eye. I'm going to do this again. When it's downloaded, in the download section, tap on the eye and then tap on the green camera roll. And then it will say transfer to camera roll. And then I can go straight, and this will finish it down here, you'll be glad to know. I can go straight to Keynote. I can go to plus, I can go here, I can go to camera roll, I can use the video, and I'm good to go with that video straight from YouTube. No messing about. Now one of our tutorials that we're doing later on in the year is showing you iMovie, how you can take a video, chop out all the bits you don't want, or chop out the bits that you do want, and how to put titles on it and all sorts of cool stuff with it, but actually to make it really functional for what you want to present in the classroom. But this app, this video downloader app, is just immense. Is that right? It is just immense for teachers. This is the free version. I'm going to stress this is the free version. And you're only supposed to get 15 downloads, and then it says you have to pay. Now it's a whopping £2.49. I am not into paying any sort of money. I'm too tight. So what you can do, if you do start to run out, because there's one key thing. This video is now living inside here, plus it's now also living inside camera roll. It's now duplicated. So I can delete that if I drag my finger left to right, hit delete, that's it out of the app. I'm good to download another 14 tracks. Is that okay? So video downloader, knock yourselves out. It is phenomenal. And it goes to camera roll. It goes to camera roll. Sorry that I went.
No, you're fine, Andrew. Thank you very much.